Now, ASEAN's digital transformation is gaining new momentum as leaders push to create a region that's both connected and trusted. The Digital Economy Framework Agreement, or DEFA, is central to that effort as it aims to strengthen data flows, boost innovation, and ensure that no one is left behind. To help us understand how this framework could reshape ASEAN's digital future, we're joined by none other than Dr. Jasmine Begum, Regional Director of Microsoft ASEAN. Thank you for being with us. Now let's get straight into it. As Malaysia chairs ASEAN this year, how do you see ASEAN's Digital Economy Framework Agreement, or DEFA, evolving at the summit to boost the region's digital economy and strengthen cooperation among member states?
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. Thank you, Nadiah, for having me. Exciting time to be in Kuala Lumpur. Just happy to watch all of the leaders who have now converged in Kuala Lumpur to actually take ASEAN and take Malaysia to the next step. Coming to your question on DEFA, I think that with all the agreements and the joint statements that we have seen come out since yesterday, what I see is an accelerated timeline, especially in the context of digital transformation, adoption of AI, the trusted data flows, and also the mention of trusted borders. I see Malaysia seizing an opportunity to not only spearhead and transform and accelerate adoption of digital services in Malaysia, but in fact be a leader in the region to drive this change. And I believe DEFA will have three roles to play. Number one, they will be looking to accelerate to conclude not only the substantive part, but to bring it to conclusion later. I do see a thread of agreement come into place, especially in issues like cross-border data flow. And thirdly, commitment to ensure that everybody is included, an inclusive digital economy framework that no one is left behind. That's what I'm seeing.
Now, you've been highlighted that building digital trust is key to a stronger regional economy. Now, how can ASEAN turn that idea into real practical action through DEFA? You mentioned three things earlier, particularly in the areas of data security, privacy, and cross-border cooperation. Thoughts?
I think the most important element is harmonization, right? We want to ensure that across the region, there is a bit of standardization and harmonization so businesses will find it easy to comply. Compliance or regulatory compliance is key to a trusted environment. And in order for everybody to be able to comply at the same time, to be able to for businesses to be able to comply, but at the same time they are able to not impede, to ensure that they are not impeding innovation, there should be some form of harmonization. I think that's critical. Whether we see the personal data protection laws, whether we are looking at cybersecurity laws, I think all of these things, the most critical component would be harmonization in adoption, ensuring that there is a free flow of data, but also most importantly, it doesn't impede innovation. I think those are critical elements of how digital economy actually translate to an economy that impacts and everybody can harness the digital economy as well.
When we're talking about data being the heart of the digital economy, yet remains one of the most complex policy areas, you mentioned data security, personal data protection. What do you see as some of the biggest barriers in enabling a seamless and trusted cross-border data flow within ASEAN? And how might DEFA actually address this?
I think, as we all know, that was one of the biggest chapters in DEFA that has interest in long-drawn debate to ensure that governments across the region are feeling comfortable, ensuring that data is transmitted in the most secure way. And as we know, data is seen as the pulse of digital economy, and in ensuring data is being used in the most responsible way, we want to ensure that every country has a regime that can be complied. It is not a checkbox exercise. Data privacy, compliance for data privacy is not checkbox exercise. It is a critical of the work that digital economy, whether you take the financial sector, whether you take the healthcare sector, education, all of this, we want to ensure that the digital data is used in the most responsible way, but also in a way that it is easily where the industry can comply, where businesses can comply, where data mobility, data transferability has got guardrails that can ensure that data is transferred transferred in the most compliant way. And in order to do that, governments across the region are looking at harmonization. An important role in accelerating that harmonization.
And I think learning from what has happened in other parts of the world, data is not just the be all and end all, isn't it, Dr. Jasmine? Because there's data, and then there's how you synthesize data into information, and how information becomes knowledge on how we make informed decisions for some of the things that we need to do. Do you feel that ASEAN has the correct rubric and infrastructure in place, or at least you said acceleration, especially knowing that now the 11 states have got different starting points?
You make a very good point. You know, every country in the 11 member states have a different point. In the policy and regulatory life cycle, everyone is at a different start point, midpoint, or even as they are looking to progress this into a more sectoral regulation. What we are seeing as an opportunity is where we live in a world where we are moving analog policies to digital policies. We want to ensure we are looking at digital first mindset. The challenge has been where a lot of analog policies were tweaked to fit the digital world. It didn't work well as we wanted. In the analog world, policies and regulations were very siloed, whereas in the digital world, it has to function in a complementary and digital by design. As a result of this, the barrier has been the transition from analog policy to digital policy. When a digital policy is a tweak of an analog policy, it doesn't function as well as we would want. So making sure the countries which are at some starting point, they are able to build digital by design these policies instead of using analog policies. I think that is a critical starting point. And in many issues, we too are looking to build digital by design policies. I think that's the opportunity.
And I think that the key point that you're also raising is that when we talk about digital by design, we're talking about being deliberate about how we are going to move forward and not sort of in retrospect paste on a new style of doing things on top of analog design and policies already there. Now, thoughts for small and medium-sized enterprises that often face challenges in integrating into the present digital economy, how can DEFA ensure that digital trade and accessibility are beneficial for SMEs and MSMEs, in fact, for startups across the ASEAN countries?
I think two big opportunity, right? Where I was so happy to see the free flow of data across the region as one big call out. But I think being able to provide the right kind of grants to our SMEs, who are 70% of our GDP and 80% of our workforce in the region, I think that opportunity that we want to seize. How do we ensure the kind of support that we are giving, the kind of incentives that we are going to give them, the kind of tax breaks we are going to give them for digital transformation, the kind of skilling that we can provide to SME workforce? I think all of these have to be now to be taught in a way that is a package that will serve seamlessly. And I think the introduction of UBIN, the single business registration number, is something that I'm looking forward to, because now our businesses can actually done by design, and that is really exciting. And that, I think, is one of the steps taken under DEFA to ensure that SMEs are integrated into the digital economy.
And I think what we've seen coming out of not only the financial crisis but also COVID-19 is that where a lot of these global economies are actually supported by SMEs and startups, more so now than ever before. And if we do not, I suppose, level the playing field, we're going to see a gap instead of integration. Now, digital inclusion goes beyond mere infrastructure. You mentioned this very clearly, that we need governance, protection, and an ecosystem that actually enables. So at the end of the day, what I'm hearing is it's all about people. How can ASEAN ensure that digital growth benefits smaller communities and those outside of the capital cities, not just large corporations and spaces in urban city centers?
No, that is the central theme of inclusion, and the central theme of ASEAN, Malaysia's ASEAN theme for the ASEAN this year, inclusivity and sustainability. And ensuring it's not just about digital inclusion, but it's bridging the opportunity divide. Not including means you are taking away opportunities from people. So in what we do in Microsoft, we ensure the skilling that we provide is not just focused in the urban centers, but actually it permeates down across the country. And similarly, across ASEAN, the skilling that we are providing is available to everyone across the countries and not just in the main cities. So I believe when some of these grants, subsidies, and the different opportunities are made available, it has to be also communicated. Governments, partners, private sector have a role and an opportunity to ensure there's awareness that's brought not only to main areas but across the country. And with AI, we see this opportunity being made available with local languages. A lot of translation are being done real time, and I believe the opportunity to bring all of these technologies to everyone is
Yes.
now made easier with AI.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jasmine Begum. Now we're going to go quickly to the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre, where the Prime Minister is currently speaking at the RCEP summit happening right now on the fringes of the ASEAN 47th. Over to you.